Welcome to our Hong Kong Brief program. Today, we delve into the pressing issue of food insecurity in Hong Kong, where many low-income families, like homemaker Fion Chan's, are forced to skip meals to save money as living costs soar. With over 40% of low-income residents facing hunger, experts are calling for more targeted government assistance to tackle the root causes of poverty and food insecurity. In other news, Hong Kong's stock market has hit a one-month low, with the Hang Seng Index dropping 1.2% amid concerns over global growth and plunging oil prices. The decline has particularly impacted Chinese oil companies and sportswear stocks, while traders keep a close eye on the upcoming U.S. presidential debate for potential policy implications. Lastly, Sino-Ocean Group, a Chinese developer, has received a 12-day reprieve from the Hong Kong High Court for its winding-up hearing, allowing it to gather support for its $5.6 billion restructuring plan. With over 75% of loan creditors on board, the company is working hard to navigate its financial challenges. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. South China Morning Post reports on the dire situation faced by impoverished families in Hong Kong, where many are resorting to skipping meals to save money amidst rising living costs. Fion Chan, a homemaker, illustrates this struggle as she meticulously stretches a meager budget, often prioritizing her children's nutrition over her own. The recent survey by NGO Food Grace highlights that over 2/5 of low-income residents are experiencing hunger, with many cutting meals to cope with soaring food prices. Experts emphasize the need for comprehensive government support and targeted assistance, as the current piecemeal measures are insufficient to address the root causes of food insecurity in a city known for its wealth. South China Morning Post also covers the fluctuations in Hong Kong's stock market, which has dipped to a one-month low due to a significant drop in crude oil prices and the anticipation surrounding the U.S. presidential debate. The Hang Seng Index fell by 1.2%, with major Chinese oil companies like PetroChina and Sinopec experiencing substantial losses. The market's decline reflects broader concerns about global economic growth, and traders are keeping a close eye on political developments that could impact trade relations and economic policies. Meanwhile, other Asian markets also faced downturns, indicating a regional trend influenced by these economic uncertainties. South China Morning Post highlights the ongoing legal challenges faced by Sino-Ocean Group, a Chinese developer in financial distress. The Hong Kong High Court has granted the company a 12-day reprieve to garner support for its restructuring plan, which involves $5.6 billion in debt. While over 75% of loan creditors have shown agreement, tensions remain with bondholders, complicating the restructuring process. The court's discretion in approving the plan underscores the complexities of corporate restructuring, as differing opinions among creditor groups may lead to further legal disputes. The outcome of this case could set a precedent for how similar financial difficulties are handled in the future, particularly under UK law governing the company's dollar-denominated debts. South China Morning Post reports on Claire Choi's, the creative director of Boucheron, who embraces the freedom and challenges of designing high jewelry collections. Each year, during Haute Couture Week in Paris, she showcases her carte blanche collection, which is known for its innovative and unconventional designs. For her latest collection, Or Blue, Choi drew inspiration from the beauty and power of water, leading her on an enlightening journey to Iceland. There, she discovered the diverse forms water can take, which she translated into her jewelry using materials like diamond and rock crystal. This collection defies traditional expectations of jewelry, with pieces that can be worn in various ways, encouraging wearers to appreciate the artistry and creativity behind each unique creation. In another article, the South China Morning Post highlights Hong Kong's condemnation of the U.S. Congress for advancing legislation that could potentially close its economic and trade offices in the U.S. The Hong Kong government argues that these bills represent a politically motivated attack that interferes with its internal affairs and violate international norms. The legislation is part of a broader effort by the Republican-led House of Representatives to address perceived threats from China. Hong Kong officials emphasize the economic benefits the U.S. has gained from its relationship with the city, warning that undermining these ties could ultimately harm American interests. They assert that Hong Kong's legal system remains robust and that the rights and freedoms of its residents are protected under local and international laws. Lastly, the South China Morning Post discusses the implications of a recent court ruling on Stand News, which was convicted of sedition. The case has reignited debates about press freedom in Hong Kong, with some arguing that the ruling sets a dangerous precedent for media outlets. However, the article draws parallels to a similar case from 1998 that did not attract the same level of public outcry, suggesting that the perception of press freedom may be influenced by the political climate. The court's decision was based on specific articles deemed seditious, and while it highlights the need for editors to be vigilant, the article contends that press freedom remains intact in Hong Kong, as the laws in question were established during the colonial era and are not designed to suppress legitimate journalism. South China Morning Post reports that Cathay Pacific Airways is currently investigating a case of suspected food poisoning experienced by a passenger after consuming a raw fish meal during an in-flight service. The incident occurred on flight CX-987 from Chengdu to Hong Kong, where the passenger, unaware that her meal included raw fish, subsequently fell ill with symptoms such as diarrhea and stomach pain. Although Cathay Pacific acknowledged the situation and expressed their commitment to food safety, the passenger faced difficulties in receiving medical assistance without incurring costs, leading her to feel abandoned by the airline. The airline has stated that a thorough investigation is underway to ascertain the cause of the illness. In another story from South China Morning Post, diving superstar Tom Daley advocates for the removal of age restrictions in Olympic competitions, reflecting on his own challenging debut at the age of 14. Despite the intense scrutiny and bullying he faced in school, Daley believes that young athletes should have the opportunity to compete if they are the best in their respective nations. He reminisced about the pressures of performing at such a young age, but also acknowledged the invaluable experiences it provided him. As he prepares to retire post-Paris Olympics, Daley emphasizes the importance of sports in teaching resilience and teamwork, urging that access to sports should be available for everyone, regardless of age. Nikkei Asia highlights Japan's emergence as a leading market for private equity firms, as noted by J.P. Morgan Chase's Asia-Pacific investment head, Paul Urin. With a significant increase in investment banking activity, Japan has become a focal point for global private equity, especially as capital flows that once favored China have shifted towards Japan and India. Urin attributes this growth to improved corporate governance and successful collaborations between private equity firms and Japanese companies, which have fostered a more favorable perception of private equity in the region. As Japan continues to attract investment, sectors such as energy and healthcare are driving the market, while the outlook for investment banking remains optimistic, particularly as global political uncertainties begin to stabilize. SCMP opinion highlights the pressing need for scrutiny regarding long-term contracts and aggressive sales tactics employed by gyms in Hong Kong, especially following the sudden closure of the physical health center. This closure has left many customers and employees in distress, with over 1,700 complaints lodged with the Consumer Council, totaling nearly 60 million Hong Kong dollars in claims. The abrupt shutdown raised concerns about potential fraudulent practices, particularly as some contracts were signed just before the closure. Investigations are underway to determine if unfair practices were at play, as the fitness industry grapples with economic challenges and high rents, prompting lawmakers to consider strengthening consumer protection regulations. In a positive light, the SCMP reports on Hong Kong's appeal to investors, particularly in the medical technology sector, due to its robust regulatory support and strategic position as a connector between mainland China and global markets. Time Medical, a medical imaging company, benefited from the streamlined regulatory process in Hong Kong, allowing it to expedite the approval of its neonatal MRI system. With the assistance of InvestHK, the company and others have established a strong presence in the city, creating jobs and fostering connections that open doors to the mainland market. The introduction of the Medical Connect scheme further enhances Hong Kong's attractiveness, enabling local medical devices to be utilized in the Greater Bay Area, thus bolstering the city's status as a hub for innovation. In an entertaining twist, the SCMP features Singapore's competitive eater Zermatt Neo, who has gained a massive following for his extraordinary eating feats, including consuming 100 egg tarts and 7 kilograms of char siu rice in one sitting. Neo, dubbed Singapore's King of Competitive Eating, transitioned from a nutritionist to a full-time content creator, showcasing his impressive ability to devour massive quantities of food in record time. His journey began nearly a decade ago, and he now balances his competitive eating with a focus on health, emphasizing the importance of regular health checks and nutrition. Despite the risks associated with competitive eating, Neo is committed to his craft and aims to participate in prestigious competitions, all while dreaming of a future in travel vlogging to explore global cuisines. SCMP opinion: Hong Kong's sweltering summers have become a pressing concern, with heat stroke warnings frequently issued for outdoor workers. A recent Oxfam survey revealed that a staggering 86% of 200 interviewed cleaners experienced heat exhaustion, highlighting the ineffectiveness of existing labor guidelines. Many workers, often unaware of the warnings due to their demanding roles, continue working under extreme conditions, sometimes reaching temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius. The criticism of the three-tier alert system, which has never issued a black warning despite dire conditions, emphasizes the urgent need for a review and better communication methods, such as a smartwatch project proposed by NGOs. As officials remain insulated in air-conditioned offices, the plight of outdoor workers serves as a stark reminder of the heat they endure. South China Morning Post: Linkin Park's return to the music scene has been clouded by controversy surrounding their new vocalist, Emily Armstrong, who has alleged ties to the Church of Scientology. Following the tragic death of former lead singer Chester Bennington, the band introduced Armstrong, sparking mixed reactions from fans. While some praised her vocal talent, others, including Bennington's son, expressed disappointment at what they perceive as a disrespectful replacement. Armstrong, known for her previous work with the band Dead Sarah, has faced backlash for her connections to Scientology and support for convicted rapist Danny Masterson. In response to the uproar, she clarified her stance against abuse but did not directly address the allegations, leaving fans divided on her role within the iconic band. Foreign policy: as the U.S. Congress reconvenes, a series of bills targeting China are on the agenda, reflecting a growing consensus on U.S.-China competition. This China Week focuses particularly on technology, aiming to limit Chinese access to critical sectors like semiconductors and biotechnology. While bipartisan support for these measures is strong, concerns arise over the potential negative impact on American consumers. Additionally, Congress is considering various proposals, including those aimed at strengthening Taiwan's defense and scrutinizing Confucius Institutes. Amidst these discussions, the recent reappearance of former Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang in a minor role has sparked speculation about his abrupt removal from power. Meanwhile, China's dominance in the Paralympics contrasts sharply with its struggles in team sports, underscoring the complexities of national pride and sportsmanship in the country. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6-do brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6-do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6-do brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6-do brief via email.